Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina virtually inaugurates Dhaka OIC Youth Capital 2020, stressing youth participation in innovation and decision-making for progress and sustainable future.
The youth has great opportunity to be part of this decision-making by engaging themselves with ideas and innovations to build a future which they think would be resilient and sustainable.
Cabinet approves draft of Madrasah Education Board Act 2020. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina directs all to extend every possible help to flooded people. Flood situation in country's north and central regions remain unchanged. Experts call for sustainable flood management. Road Transport and Bridges Minister Abdul Qadir asks for temporary halt to ongoing construction of flyovers and other development works on highways to facilitate smooth journey during Eid. 50th birthday anniversary of architect of digital Bangladesh, Sajib Wazed Joy today. Bangladesh joined fourth industrial revolution on time through vision of Bangabandhu's grandson, Sajib Wazed Joy, says Information Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood. And COVID-19 global death toll crosses 6,50,000, having over 1,64 lakh contaminations. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News at 10 on BTV, BTV World and BTV Chattogram Center. I am Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui with you. You just heard the headlines. Let's move on to the details of those and other stories. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has called for making youth part of the decision-making for economic transgressions in the corona situation by engaging themselves with ideas and innovations to build a resilient and sustainable future. The Prime Minister was inaugurating the Dhaka OIC Youth Capital 2020 and its first event, the Resilient Youth Leadership Summit, by delivering a video message in the virtual platform this afternoon. In the pre-recorded speech, Sheikh Hasina said COVID-19 is forcing both the pace and scale of workplace innovations, and these silver linings are thin compared to the scale of the disruptions. And in such cases, either rigidity in economic and executive control or flexibility and dynamism for innovation and new ideas are the only options in the face of overwhelming obstacles, she said, suggesting to choose the middle lines.
Executive control, or we could choose flexibility and dynamism for innovation and new ideas in the face of overwhelming obstacles. The youth has great opportunity to be part of this decision-making by engaging themselves with ideas and innovations to build a future which they think would be resilient and sustainable.
OIC Secretary General Yusuf bin Ahmed Al Uthaymin, Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, State Minister for Youth and Sports Zaid Hassan Russell, Minister of Youth and Sports of Azerbaijan Azad Rahimov, Attorney General and Minister of Justice of Gambia Daouda A. Jallow, and President of Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum Taha Ayyan also spoke on the occasion. With an apprehension of prolonged flood across the country, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has asked the government officials to remain prepared for extending all sorts of support to the flooded people in the deluge is lingered. The directives came from a regular weekly cabinet meeting with the Prime Minister in the chair this morning. The Premier joined the meeting from her official Gonoboban residence here, while cabinet members and secretaries were connected from the Secretariat through video conference. The Cabinet approved the draft of the Bangladesh Madrasah Education Board Act 2020 at the meeting. The proposed law made some amendments to the existing Madrasah Education Ordinance 1978 to make it time-befitting in accordance with the Supreme Court order that had declared all the military period laws illegal. Besides, the Cabinet approved a draft of an agreement to be signed between the Government of Bangladesh and Lumbini Development Trust to set up a Buddhist temple at Lumbini in Nepal with the finance of Bangladesh. Briefing newsmen after the regular weekly meeting at his Secretariat office, Cabinet Secretary Khondakar Anwar Islam said that the Prime Minister gave them a clear-cut instruction of taking all our preparations to tackle any situation, as there was an apprehension that the flooding may be protracted. He said the Prime Minister asked the government officials, particularly the field-level ones, to stay prepared all the time, staying at their workstations to face any situation if the deluge is prolonged. Simultaneously, the Prime Minister asked the government officials to be cautious in case of distributing relief materials amid COVID-19 pandemic. The Cabinet Secretary said the Prime Minister herself supervises the flood situation and relief activities. The Prime Minister directed the local administrations to take prompt measures to accommodate the flood-affected people to nearby schools, colleges and madrasahs in case of not having sufficient flood shelters, and give them all sorts of relief materials, particularly water purifying tablets and oral saline, and make sure regular vaccination of their domestic animals, he said. Anwarul said field-level government employees of the ministries concerned, particularly education, health and agriculture, have already been asked to stay at their workstations during the flood period. The Cabinet Secretary said despite having an inbuilt mechanism in the field level to tackle flood, extra efforts are being made to this end, as the ongoing flooding is predicted to be lingered. The flood situation in the country is stable today. According to latest update from Flood Forecasting and Warning Centre, flood situation may remain steady in Tangail, Sirajganj, Jamalpur, Shariatpur, Dhaka and many districts in the north and middle of the country in the next 24 hours. At present, flood situation is stable in Kurigram, Gaibandha, Bogura, Jamalpur, Sirajganj, Tangail and many districts including Dhaka. As no new district was flooded today, the number of flooded districts remains 17. Flood Forecasting and Warning Centre said water at 20 rivers was flowing above danger mark at 30 points. It also said though water at Podda is steady, but water in Ganges has increased in the last 24 hours. On the other hand, flood water has decreased at Brahmaputra, Jamuna, Dhorla, Tista, Kushiara and Surma rivers. Meanwhile, water of Jamuna, Dhaleshwari, Jhinai and other rivers was flowing over various regional roads in Tangail. The Jamuna River was flowing 85 centimeter above its danger mark in the last 24 hours in Sirajganj, while it was flowing 95 centimeter above its danger mark at Kazipur point of the district. The flood situation is unchanged in Jamalpur. The Jamuna was flowing 105 centimeter above its danger mark in Bahadurabad Ghat point after decreasing 7 centimeters. On the other hand, water of Podda River has increased multiple times in Shariatpur. There are cracks in the protection dam of Noria Darbar Sharif. Deputy Minister for Water Resources A.K. Enamul Haq Shamim has visited the dam. Its dumping works are going on in full swing now. Besides, the flood situation may remain unchanged in Gaibandha, Brahmanbadia, Madaripur, Faridpur and other flooded districts, said Flood Forecasting and Warning Centre. Road Transport and Bridges Minister Abdul Qadir once again directed the authorities concerned to temporarily halt the ongoing development works, including that of flyovers, to ensure a smooth e-journey. He gave the directives while holding video conference from his official residence with the officials of the Roads and Highways Department and law enforcing agencies of Ghazipur today on the occasion of Eid. The minister also directed the authorities concerned to ensure a proper traffic management from Tongi to Ghazipur Chourasta and bypass, and Nobinagar to Chandra, Bhogra, Chandra, Kaliakur, Elenga corridor to reduce sufferings of hembound people. Road Transport and Bridges Minister said pressure of passengers increases as garment factories in Ghazipur announce holidays 2 days prior to Eid. He stressed the need for preparations in consultation with BGMEA to handle additional pressure of passengers.
কিভাবে জনগণকে ঈদ যাত্রা সহযোগিতা করব তার কার্যকর কৌশলগুলো চিহ্নিত করে সবাই মিলে বাস্তবায়ন করব। বিজিএমই এর সাথে কথা বলে তাদের ছুটির প্ল্যান অনুযায়ী বাড়তি চাপ মোকাবিলায় প্রস্তুতি নিতে হবে। গুরুত্বপূর্ণ পয়েন্ট সমূহে সিসি ক্যামেরা লাগানো হচ্ছে। ঈদের আগে 3 দিন ভারী যানবাহন চলাচল বন্ধ থাকবে এবং কোনো অবস্থায় হাইওয়েতে ছোট ছোট যানগুলো যেমন ইজি ব্যাগ সহ বিভিন্ন 3 চাকার গাড়ি, ব্যাটারি চালিত রিক্সা চলতে দেওয়া যায় না। আপনারা জানেন বন্যা দেশের উত্তরাঞ্চল থেকে ইতিমধ্যে মধ্যাঞ্চলে ছড়িয়ে পড়েছে। দেশরত্ন শেখ হাসিনা দুর্গত এলাকার মানুষের মাঝে মানবিক সহায়তার নির্দেশনা দিয়েছেন। দুর্গত এলাকা পর্যাপ্ত খাদ্যসহ অন্যান্য সহায়তা প্রেরণ করা হয়েছে। বাংলাদেশ আওয়ামী লীগের সর্বস্তরে নেতা কর্মীদের বন্যা দুর্গত মানুষের সহায়তায় প্রশাসনকে সহযোগিতার নির্দেশনা দিয়েছেন মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী।
Today is the 50th birthday of Sajib Wazed Joy, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's only son and the eldest grandson of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Joy was born during the Bangladesh Liberation War on 27 July 1971 to nuclear scientist Dr. M.A. Wajid Mia and Sheikh Hasina. His birth during the war and subsequent victory of the Bengalis led him to be nicknamed by his family as Joy, meaning victory in Bengali. Sajib Wazed Joy, the architect of digital Bangladesh, is now performing as the ICT Affairs Advisor to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Joy's major contribution lies on the development of ICT sector of Bangladesh and has framed the idea of digital Bangladesh. The policies taken by him as the Prime Minister's ICT advisor opened a new horizon of ICT usage in Bangladesh as the country continues to improve rapidly in all indicators of technological advancement, including mobile phone users, internet users, accessing public services digitally, mobile banking, and earning from ICT exports. Information Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood has said Bangladesh has joined fourth industrial revolution on time through vision of Bangabandhu's grandson, Sajib Wazed Joy. He said this while unwrapping a book titled Mujib Theke Sajib at Secretariat today. State Minister for Information Dr. Murad Hassan was present at the function, mentioning that the leadership and proper guidelines of Sajib Wazed Joy is very much necessary for building digital Bangladesh. Information Minister hoped Sajib Wazed Joy will lead Bangladesh in future also.
2008 সালে এই ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশের ধারণাটি আন্তর্জাতিক খ্যাতিসম্পন্ন প্রযুক্তিবিদ জনাব সজীব ওয়াজেদ জয়ের কাছ থেকেই এসেছিল এবং তার ধারণা প্রসূত এই ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশের স্লোগান বাংলাদেশ আওয়ামী লীগ 2008 সালে যখন দেয় তখন অনেকে এটি নিয়ে হাস্যরস করেছিল, অনেকে এটি উপলব্ধি করতে ব্যর্থ হয়েছিল। আজকে ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশ কোনো স্বপ্নের কথা নয়, আজকে ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশ বাস্তবে রূপায়িত হয়েছে। পৃথিবীতে চতুর্থ শিল্প বিপ্লব চলছে। আজকে চতুর্থ শিল্প বিপ্লব হচ্ছে ডিজিটাল দেশকে সমাজকে ডিজিটালাইজ করা, রোবোটিক্স, এগুলো হচ্ছে চতুর্থ শিল্প বিপ্লব। আমরা প্রথম 3টি শিল্প বিপ্লবে আমাদের এই জনপদ পিছিয়ে থাকলেও আমরা সজীব ওয়াজেদ জয়ের মতো আন্তর্জাতিক খ্যাতিসম্পন্ন প্রযুক্তিবিদ, ভবিষ্যৎবেত্তা থাকার কারণে আমরা সঠিক সময়ে চতুর্থ শিল্প বিপ্লবের সাথে বাংলাদেশকে সম্পৃক্ত করতে সক্ষম হয়েছে। ডিজিটাল দেশ রচনা যে কত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ সেটি আজকে আমরা অনুধাবন করতে পারছি, যখন করোনা ভাইরাসের এই প্রকোপের কারণে সবাই আমরা আগের মতো চলাচল করতে পারছি না, আগের মতো কাজ করতে পারছি না, তখন যে এই ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশ রচনা করা যে কত প্রয়োজনীয়তা ছিল সেটির প্রয়োজনীয়তা আজকে আমরা অনুধাবন করতে পারছি। শিক্ষার্থীরা ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশ হওয়ার কারণে তারা অনলাইনে ক্লাস করছে, অনলাইনে ব্যবসা বাণিজ্য হচ্ছে, অনলাইনে সমস্ত ফাইলিংয়ের মাধ্যমে দাপ্তরিক কাজ হচ্ছে। ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশ মানুষের কাছে সেবা একেবারে মানুষের দোরগোড়ায় পৌঁছে দেওয়া হয়েছে।
Bangladesh has received 10 broad-gauge locomotives from India in another move of raising railway cooperation in connectivity front between the two neighbouring countries. The Indian government provided the locomotives under its grant assistance programme in line with the commitment by New Delhi during Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's visit to India last October under Indian Premier Narendra Modi's Neighbourhood-first policy. The locomotives were handed at Darshana Gedi interchange point, while Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Momin and Railway Minister Mama Nurul Islam Shujon joined from Dhaka, and Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Railway Minister Piyush Goyal joined from Delhi at a virtual handover ceremony. The death toll of coronavirus in Bangladesh rose to 2,965 with the death of 37 more patients in the latest update. Besides, 2,772 new cases were detected after testing 12,859 samples, taking the total cases to 2,26,225. Professor Dr. Nasima Sultana, Additional Director General of Health Services, came up with the disclosure at its daily health bulletin broadcast from Moakhali. She also informed that 1,801 coronavirus patients made recovery during the period, bringing the total number of recoveries to 1,25,683. The coronavirus outbreak across the world has now infected about 1,65,16,000 people, with more than 6,53,000 people succumbing to the virus that was first reported in late December 2019. Meanwhile, over 1,01,13,000 people have recovered from COVID-19 globally. The current epicenter of the pandemic, the United States, has about 43,75,000 confirmed cases and about 1,50,000 deaths. In Brazil, the total death toll in COVID-19 is over 87,000, while about 24,20,000 people were infected. India, which is in the third spot in the list of nations worst hit by coronavirus, has now over 14,66,000 cases and more than 33,000 deaths. And now, sports news. The fourth day's game of the last test of three-match series between host England and West Indies were postponed due to rain in Manchester. West Indies were scheduled to start their fourth day's batting with the overnight score of 10 for 2 wickets, chasing the victory target of 399 in second innings today. The Caribbeans were all out on 197 runs in their first innings. The English scored 369 runs in their first innings and were declared second innings on 226 runs for 2. The series is levelled by 1-1. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina virtually inaugurates Dhaka OIC Youth Capital 2020, stressing youth participation in innovation and decision-making for progress and sustainable future. Cabinet approves draft of Madrasah Education Board Act 2020. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina directs all to extend every possible help to flooded people. Flood situation in country's north and central regions remain unchanged. Experts call for sustainable flood management. Road Transport and Bridges Minister Abdul Qadir asks for temporary halt to ongoing construction of flyovers and other development works on highways to facilitate smooth journey during Eid. 5th birth anniversary of architect of digital Bangladesh, Sajib Wazed Joy, today. Bangladesh joined 4th Industrial Revolution on time through vision of Bangabandhu's grandson, Sajib Wazed Joy, says Information Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood. And COVID-19 global death toll crosses 6,50,000, having over 1,64 lakh contaminations. And here we end the news. Thank you for being with us. Our next bulletin is coming up at 11:30.